Welcome back to Dark Souls 2. We're going to finish up in the gutter today and make our way to Black Gulch. Obviously the big news since I released the first gutter part yesterday is the fact that we now know what Project Beast is going to be called. It's given the title Bloodborne by FromSoft, and it releases early next year, so it's less than a year away, which is good. And it reminds me of, it's got that old Victorian London setting going on, but darker than that, more horrific and unnerving. It's definitely got, it definitely reminds me, the Plague City, only in a small way does the Plague City remind me of Dishonored, and the fact that the city has suffered because of this plague and it's become like desolate, and the creatures that remain are blighted by this disease or whatever. It also reminds me of the famous gothic horror film called From Hell, about Jack the Ripper, that stars Johnny Depp, Heather Graham and Robbie Coltrane, Dumbledore from Harry Potter movies. And that film left you with this feeling that there was horror lurking around every dark, bloodied cobbled street in London. And I would recommend watching it if you haven't done so already. And I definitely, I don't know, I made that connection instantly when I was watching the E3 trailer, or the promotional video for Bloodborne. And what else? Oh yeah, there was some elements of it that reminded me of the Van Helsing films. I think probably that was, you know, like the kind of canine creatures. Here's the hanging spitting statue that I was talking about in the previous episode. It's probably just there. It's actually got writing on the bottom of it. I've never noticed that before. But yeah, just there, just to get you as you come up the wee path. What else about Bloodborne? I think the gadgets and guns aspect of the game, because apparently they're going to be focusing on that side of things, and that could be a fruitful new direction for FromSoft to go in, because they've already proven themselves with, you know, the kind of combat we were used to in the Souls series. And what else? Oh, there's lots to talk about. I want to talk about this wee area first. You're going to get ambushed here by a number of undead prisoners, or whatever these guys are, just undead I think. And these are the ones that you could see in the previous episode that were clinging to the rock face. And when you make your way down here, they climb up and basically try to ambush you. And we're going to actually fight an NPC in this area as well. She doesn't make her presence known right away. You have to come from the other direction to get her to spawn. You can see that there's a wee path up there, and you have to come from that direction to get her to invade you. But that won't be long. So what have we got coming up here? Yeah, we've got a wee platforming puzzle coming up. And you just make your way down here. It's definitely worth coming along this way, because there's a good upgrade item inside that structure in front of us. You can see the treasure chest in front of us, and you don't get to the treasure chest from inside the structure or from the outside of the structure. You have to get to it from platforming basically, but I'll show you in a second. It's coming up. Yeah, what I was thinking of was, a couple of videos ago I said that I was trying to think of what it was that I felt is slightly missing from Dark Souls 2. I love Dark Souls 2, I think it's an excellent game and I'd recommend it to anybody. I think the only thing I've now finished the game. I finished it the other night and thoroughly enjoyed it, like I say. The only thing I think I was trying to say, and I didn't say it very well in the previous episode, was the fact that I used the word soul. I don't think that was the right word. I think the right term would be connection. I think there's a discordance between the way that the player interacts with the world and characters in Dark Souls 2, and the fact that FromSoft have tried to adhere to the vague and elusive way that the story's told in Dark Souls 1. I don't think the fusions worked very well in this case in Dark Souls 2. Anyway, let me talk about Melinda the Butcher for a second. No poise because she's wearing no armour or almost no clothes. This is obviously a nod to previous Souls games with the Butcher characters that invade you. You can actually get a Butcher's knife in this game. You trade the soul of an upcoming boss. Actually, it's going to be the next boss that we take on. You trade the boss soul with weaponsmith artifacts, or is it strayed? I think it's artifacts actually, and you get the Butcher's knife. And it scales with strength. I think it's actually like a strength weapon. I think it's supposed to be quite good. I think it gives you a backer proportion of your health, like the evil eye ring. Anyway, we're going to go and pick up that good upgrade stuff now. You just basically dash from here onto there and come in here, and then we'll get Twinkling Titanite and 3 smooth and silky stones. Small, smooth and silky. Okay. So we're going to make our way back to the main bonfire, the first bonfire that we came to in the gutter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make our way to the fog gate that I mentioned in the previous episode. And then what we'll do is we'll make our way down to the bottom of the gutter and go to Black Gulch. So it would actually be easier for me just to warp from this bonfire to the next one. The central gutter bonfire, I think it's called. But because I want to try and include as much content as possible and cover as much of the area as possible, I'm just going to make my way there and do a couple of tasks and go to a couple of different locations that we haven't been to yet. I've cut out as much as possible of the stuff that I repeated that was in the previous episode, so we're not repeating everything. So anyway, you just come down this hole, and then this is a familiar area. We've been here in the previous episode. Just up ahead we picked up the dark pyromancy flame, just to our right here. And I believe I never talked about the dark pyromancy flame. Actually, this is where I was talking about the dog. Look, I took damage there even though it was me that actually struck the hunting dog, or whatever it's called. And I found out yesterday you can actually parry those hunting dogs. What happens is you parry them and they actually go into a sitting animation. Yeah, the other thing I didn't mention in the video yesterday was the Ash Knuckle ring that we picked up next to the Crystal Lizard. And the item that I didn't pick up there as well, which you have to make a jump for, but we're going to get that in a later episode when we go to the Grave of Saints. I got a fright when I was playing this and he crept up behind me. But yeah, the Ash Knuckle ring increases petrification resistance. And the item I didn't pick up next to the Crystal Lizard is the Disc Chime, but we'll pick that up soon. What was oh yeah, the Dark Pyromancy Flame. From the limited understanding I have of that item, I believe it scales with hollowing, so the more hollowed you are, the stronger the Pyromancy Flame is. And I believe it's not, it's not highly thought of in the community, this item. The normal Pyromancy Flame is considered a lot better and stronger, especially when you upgrade it. Now I've lost my train of thought in terms of what I was talking about before, or what I was wanting to talk about in terms of Dark Souls 1 and the way the story's told in this game. Yeah, they tried to adhere to the Dark Souls 1 style theme of elusive storytelling while trying something slightly new for the series. That is that you as the main protagonist have a role to play in the unfolding story of Drowned Lake. So, I know we've got the giants and whatnot, and that story element will come into play soon, but the whole thing isn't over yet. It's still unfolding, and that's true, I suppose, in Dark Souls 1 to a degree. It's more apparent in Dark Souls 2, I think, and it's clearer that you play a bigger role. In Dark Souls 1, the world and the characters felt indifferent to your presence, mostly, not in every case, but mostly. And that's what conferred a lot of this, what's the word? Like unique maybe isn't the right word, but that gave, I don't know, Dark Souls 1 this excellent atmosphere and style. And a lot of people have considered that Miyazaki is responsible for that aspect of the Demon Souls and Dark Souls games. But yeah, I think that fusion of elusive storytelling and from Dark Souls 1, trying to put you in the centre of the picture in Dark Souls 2, it's caused, like I said, a discordance between the way the story flows and the way your character interacts with the story and the world in Dark Souls 2. Anyway, let me talk about this chest, because I'm kind of straying away from what I normally do. We pick up, I think it's called the Wicked Eye Shield. Yeah, Wicked Eye Great Shield, and it's only got 80 physical block, which is, isn't good enough for a Great Shield, and it isn't good enough to account for the fact it's got high elemental defences. 70 for lightning and fire, and 60 for magic, I think it was. And I believe this shield was one of the award, somebody that designed it and sent it into FromSoft, and it was included in the game. And I like it. I think it looks. I like the look of it. It looks different. But yeah, it shouldn't have 80 physical. But they've obviously done that for a reason. I didn't realise how many dogs there were in this level. So we're up next to the fog gate now, and 20 poison arrows. That's good, because the more poison arrows you've got, the better. I've started New Game Plus now and really enjoying it. I think it's a good challenge. I make a mistake here. You can see we've got this like giant ant feature, and it's emitting a mist. That mist actually cures poison status. This is non-hostile, this giant ant thing, and the mist it spews is non-hostile. Cures poison status, but at the expense of very slowly damaging durability. But yeah. I didn't realise that. I was waiting for the giant ant to attack me at any second, and then when I was leaving this area, I clicked on an orange soapstone sign, and I was made aware of the fact that it's an ally. So, a friendly NPC. Yep, never mind. What else? So I've written here, I'm just reading what I've written about Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1, more authentic experience because it feels like you're trying to pull back the curtain to discover what's going on, and the characters feel indifferent to your attempts to do so and your presence in Lordrum. I mentioned soul as the thing that I hope Project Beast would recapture with Miyazaki at the helm, but perhaps connection was what I was thinking of. That is the connection between you and the world and story, and the story feeling authentic and real, like it did in Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls. That's just my view on it. But it's still a good game, and it's an exciting game, and it's one I'm glad I played. Anyway, there's lots of ladders in this area that you can go down. That ladder that I was just at a second ago, that's the one you actually want to go down, because it gets you access to a good weapon and a couple of other items, and you'll recognise this is the central bonfire that we were at yesterday. So we'll make our way down here. And I think the silver cat ring might come in handy here. I think I'm wearing it just now actually. Yeah, I'm wearing it. Just because you've got to do some more platforming. And I switched to my mace because I didn't want the sword to caused me to fall off the side of the platforms. Rotten pine resins, really, you end up with quite a lot of them by the end of the game, more so than any other pine resin I found. So we come down to an interesting weapon here that's in the treasure chest in front of us. This is the giant club, not the large club. I think we've already got, it's the great club, sorry, not giant club. And the great club has is it B scaling? Yeah, B scaling and strength, and the large club has S scaling. The giant club weighs more, what is it, 15 units versus 12. I don't know, they're both good weapons. I tend to find I use the large club more, just because it weighs less and it's got S and S scaling and strength. So you're going to be ambushed again when you come down here. This is us at the basically the bottom of the gutter now, and there's a lot of undead prisoners down here, so just be prepared for them. And we're going to get a wee reward for coming down here in a second. You can see we've got 30 life gems, and you actually pick up 20 life gems down here in one of these vases, which was nice of them to include. So I've been thinking as well about, I'd asked for some advice on perhaps, these pots do durability damage. They've got acid inside them, I think, so just throw something at them, take them out. And this is how you make your way to Black Gulch, through that passage there. But yeah, I've been thinking about other games to maybe include in this channel, and I appreciate the recommendations from Wayman Rules. Some good recommendations there. Metro Last Light was one that I thought was a good recommendation, and I've tried out the first hour or two of Wolfenstein The New Order, and I think it's excellent. I can't profess to being great at first person shooters, but I think I'm competent enough. I've been playing it in Uber difficulty, and it seems okay. It doesn't seem difficult at all, actually. It seems kind of straightforward. So I might do that. I also bought Resident Evil 4 HD, because I've never played the Resident Evil 4 game before, even though I know it's supposed to be one of the best games of the last decade. I tried it out. The control system seems kind of unusual for me. There's somebody else that's got the same intention as us to go into Black Gulch with his torch. But yeah, the control system I found was kind of strange. So I'm not sure what game, probably Wolfenstein or Metro Last Light. Anyway, this is us on Black Gulch. I love the fluorescent mould. There's some really unique and difficult enemies down here. And there's some good NPC interactions down here as well. Some good story tidbits. So we'll do Black Gulch in the next episode, and I hope this episode helped. Thanks for watching.